difficult to generalise, but traditionally, from a client side perspective, this will be in areas that are fairly incremental, fairly non-strategic, and all part of the day job. I think one aspect that has dramatically changed is the idea of a sort of top-down consulting. I would put McKinsey, Bain et al. In this box, the nice glossy PowerPoint telling you how to reinvent your business. Those guys are really trying to move down the value chain and get into more practical, operational applications of some of that thinking. Because they recognise that, you know, at the end of the day, if it just sits on the shelf and no one ever does anything with it, it was a bit of a waste of time. So they're trying to move down the value chain. The bottom-up guys, the ones that do all of the long traditional waterfall process of, you know, design, implement, run, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to move up the value chain and take a much more strategic positioning with their clients. Those processes are generally longer and expensive, and I'm going to come on to this as one of the things that I think really needs to change in the marketplace. So, what needs to change in that whole process aspect of getting from vision to execution is possibly, or almost certainly in our view, a hybrid of all of those things, and having the ability to effectively look left and right, back to an understanding, a clear understanding of the current situation, an ability to very quickly rationalise what it is that we're looking at here, an ability to leap to some of the end game options that might or need to be on the table, and iterating that fairly rapidly around what capabilities we have exist, what is the culture of our organisation, what enablers do we need, how quickly do we need to get this thing out. So having an advisor who can effectively facilitate this left and right thinking is, again, for me, absolutely key in selection of somebody who's actually going to add some value to your process. I don't want to bore you with this, but the bottom line is every single one of those things is a document at some point I've written. And when from that vision to execution, all of these stages are effectively deemed to facilitate the process of saying, what do we want to achieve, how will we achieve it, what do we need to achieve it, and then get on and achieve it. Or by the time we've got there, we need to start over again. So these timeframes for me are fairly realistic, and I've seen businesses spending an awful long time in each of these sections. And again, for me, this is where value leaks out of the process and money gets lost. And if you add those all up in terms of what a critical path might look like, in some instances this can be going on for 3 to 4 years. Let's skip to this slide. So, how can that all be accelerated? This is probably where I've spent most of my life in consulting. Usually picking up a vision and trying to operationalise that conceptually and saying, what would this look like? For me, all of this needs to be wrapped up together and done at the same time to avoid all of that strategic rework. The design that pops out of that, this is really kind of probably the big and probably most controversial angle that I'll put to you, which is about engaging the partner or taking a leap as to which partner you'll bring and involve in designing and building your solution. Bring them much further up the process, because ultimately you might sit in-house, and I've done this, sat, bunch of business analysts putting a design together. Eventually you choose who you're going to partner with, and they've got some out-of-the-box solution, and they pick up your business requirements and go, well, that's not going to work, and you end up having to rewrite them all again. So get the solution providers involved much earlier in the process. This is my big bugbear, which is the whole procurement-driven RFI, RFP aspect. Hello, guys. As I gave with the government example,
You know, the idea of spending 12 to 18 months just